There you go, Michelle.
Okay, I couldn't get the mute button there. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday, October 18th. I think fall is in full swing in most places. And welcome to our Live Younger community Monday morning chat. And if you are new to our community, we want to extend a very warm Live Younger community, life wave, heart-centered welcome to all of you who have maybe not been here before, or perhaps you just haven't spoken up, or you're new, relatively new. So if you are relatively new and you're not too shy, we would love to welcome you. So please feel free to either speak up and let us know that you're new, either today or in the last week or two. We'd love to welcome you. And if not, I will just share about the parameters of these calls. So every Monday morning, for those of you who haven't done this before, we meet as a roundtable, thanks to Judy Daniels. She came up with that term. So we are a roundtable community of LifeWave lovers and sharers and carers. And we come together every Monday morning for about a half an hour, and we share our stories, our testimonials, and any questions we might have with this community. And there is a lot of wisdom, experience that we have practitioners on this chat. We have doctors and naturopaths and holistic nutritionists. And so there's a lot of wisdom here. So you are so welcome, and everyone is equal. We all have great ideas. And so I host because it makes it simpler. My name is Michelle Niels, and every other week I'm hosting, and Karen O'Neill, so we're kind of similar last names, she's on the other Mondays. And there's a couple parameters for these calls, and that is that when you share your story, please only share symptoms, because we want to remain compliant. We don't want the FDA or FTC knocking on our door and saying that we're making claims. So the LifeWave products do not heal, do not claim to heal, cure, diagnose. So with that in mind, just limit your sharing to your actual physical experience rather than naming a disease state. So who would like to begin this morning? We have, 55 people on today. So welcome to all of you. And who would like to start with a share or a question of how these patches are making a difference for you? Okay, quiet. It's always quiet in the beginning. And then we have this big rash of people raising their hands at the end. Okay, Stacy, yes, unmute yourself. And we'd love to hear from you.
Okay, good morning. I have a question and a testimony. I'll do the testimony first. I still struggle with some chest congestion from the virus. So I started putting the X39 and every other day, putting the glutathione on my chest, the middle of my chest. And sometimes the energy enhancers on the lung 1 or lung 2. And it really seems to be helping clear it up. It's like it started about 6 weeks ago. My husband kind of got sick again, and then he passed on to me about 3 days later. And so I'm like, okay, let me try this. And so I would do it, and for like 2 days in a row, 3 days, everything was good. Then it came back, so I would do it again. And that was before I put the X39 on. I was just using like the glutathione and Eon and energy enhancers, or even the carnosine. And then I watched a video from Karen Ken, and she said put the X39 on the middle of the chest. So I did that, and it seemed to make a difference. So just wanted to share, if someone ever gets like chest congestion, maybe they can try that. But the X39, of course, is our go-to, and I love that patch. But the question that I have is, I haven't been able to find an answer. I have a new preferred customer that he has problems with his sugar levels. So he got them regulated, and then he started using the X39, and he started using it because, bad back, bad neck area, and he was starting to get help. But after he started using the X39, his sugar levels started doing really, really weird things. I think they said it went high. And the only thing they could realize that changed was he started using the X39. Because apparently it's been level for a while now. So then he got off of the X39 and his sugar levels normalized. I don't know if that could be considered a retracing. I don't know what this is. I don't know how to help. Does
Okay,
anybody have any
Stacy,
ideas?
that's a great question. And I remember you asked me about that, and I suggested you ask on the doctor call, because that is.
I did, but it wasn't answered.
Okay. Is there a doctor in the house? Unless Robin or Gregory feels you can respond to that one. But if we have a doctor in the house, I would love to hear from, I think Dr. Tom is on. So
Hey, Michelle. I can chat.
Oh, great. Thank you, Dr. Tom.
It's a great conversation, and lots of people in some pretty unprecedented pain these days, physical pain and emotional pain. And we don't talk about Alavita a whole lot for the respiratory lining, but it's a fantastic adjunct. We talk about it for the outside of the body. It's really fantastic to regenerate the linings of the pulmonary, of the respiratory tract too, and that's an ongoing thing, But X39 right at the sternum would be very powerful, of course. There's some very interesting research going on about the anticoagulation effects of the combination of glutathione and EON and X39. And we can't make medical claims, of course, so we can't talk about a diagnosis or a syndrome or anything like that. But really, our job is to put the body in a place where it's always regenerating.
Dr. Tom, if I could jump in, I think we caught you off guard. And the second part of Stacy's question was, she has a person that's been dealing with blood sugar and was able to get her blood sugar balanced. And when they started using the X39, their blood sugar was going back up.
Yeah.
And my suggestion, and I'll throw out mine, and I'll let the doctor critique it, is maybe they need to start with an hour or two a day. Maybe, it's just too much going on in the body, regeneration of all kinds of organs and glands could be happening, and maybe it's too much too fast. So what would your suggestion be, doctor?
That's really well said. Yeah, I was going to build to that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you heard that part of the question. So
yeah.
Sorry.
Well,
Okay.
SP6, of course, we market it for all kinds of cravings. And it's fantastic because it does work on sugar and it works on other things as well. And the reason it does that is because it balances the hormones in the body, puts the body in a place where it actually can deliver repair lipids. So certainly SP6. And then what you're pointing to, Gregory, is right on. It's a body that's chronically fragile, and it's been fragile for a long time, and trying to say something. All of a sudden, when it has new energy and new capacity to speak, a lot of times that's not a fun thing for people, right? And so just test it out, and we can reassure people too, and let them know, this is not a put the patch on and feel 100% right away. You've been dealing with some things for a long time, and this is a 90-day to a 6-month build. You really want to solidify for people that they're going to be working with you and that you're going to hold their hand, and that it's not always going to be up, right? It's not going to be a climb feeling better all the time. That retracing effect that I think Stacy was pointed to is a very good sign. We can reassure people of that, you're going to have some new capacity, and that new capacity actually is probably going to now be able to reveal and heal things that the body couldn't handle years ago, right? But especially in the emergency situation right now with an acute issue with him, certainly stabilize him, that same dynamic is true for glutathione too. Glutathione can be a very, very powerful detox, and it's certainly a huge component of a competent immune system. Almost everybody's glutathione deficient these days, but 1 or 2 hours at a time, and then build, and not every day. I like to give people 3, 4, 5 days a week of glutathione if they've even gotten to a place where they can handle it. But Eon is a very good first stabilizer and a safe stabilizer. You can try the Eon sometimes before you even try the X39 on somebody who's very unstable. Yeah, that's a lot.
Thank you.
I'll stop.
Thank you very
Dr.
much.
Tom. Did Stacy, are you clear, hon? Just want to make sure that was a lot of information. So just to recap, it's like if someone has a blood sugar issue, Dr. Tom, and they find that their blood sugar goes up with the X39, then as Gregory said, and you concurred, let's pull back a little bit, maybe try a different patch or use the X39 for a shorter period of time.
Right on.
Is that
Well
kind
said.
of a summary? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great question, because that is something that a lot of people deal with. Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Who's next? Who would like to bless our community, as Karen O'Neill says, with a share, a question?
I can throw in a testimony. I was on a sailboat with a bunch of friends yesterday. Four of whom had chronic issues, and even the owner of the boat could barely make it down the dock. And luckily, I had my sample sleeves of X39 in the car, and I said, "Maury, before we sail, let me run back up to the car." And 3 of the 6 people on board, after about 4 hours of frolicking, felt great. Partly because of the power of the ocean, but partly because of the power of the patches.
Beautiful. I love it. Thanks, Dr. Tom. Never leave home without them.
Amen.
Keep the patches with you. Okay, Mary Page, you're next.
Okay, I have a friend that is 88, and she came home from a trip to Wyoming and just never got her zest for life back. So I saw her the other 2 days ago, and she was so totally depressed. I couldn't stand it. So I put X39, Eon, and Nirvana on the back of her neck. And when I visited her in the evening, she said she was so much better. And she was, well, actually, we went to the emergency room because she ended up feeling sick enough to want to expose herself to a doctor. But she was behaving. She was mentally in a much better state after wearing those patches all day. And it turned out she was positive for that virus. And so the next day we put the same patches on. And when I saw her at lunchtime to fix her food, she said she could tell when I put the patches on.
So that's X39, Eon, and Nirvana, did you say, Mary?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
But because
And
because Dr. Acklin just said put it on the chest, we're doing that today when we get together.
Awesome. Yeah, the X39 on the chest. Yes, awesome. Did you stack those patches on the back of her neck? I'm just curious.
I did.
Okay, very good. That's called pancaking. For those of you who maybe are new, sometimes we can stack right on top of each other like pancakes, and it is sometimes a great option. Okay, so there's someone on an iPhone. I don't have a name, but
that would be Tammy. Hi, good morning.
Hi.
It's Tammy.
Hi,
I have a
Tammy.
question for, I don't know if Dr. Tom or anybody else has any feedback. I've got an elite athlete that I'm working with. She's a runner, triathlons, marathons, duathlons, and she's training right now. And we wanted to kind of gear her up because she's like #1 in the world in a couple of categories in her age category. She's 73 years old. And she said she's been losing energy and, her times are getting slower. And so I thought, well, X39, Eon, and carnosine would be a good combo for her, an energy enhancer. Those are the 4 she ordered. So we started with just the Eon and X39, and she added the energy and carnosine and ran a race and actually felt just really bogged down. And my gut is telling me that maybe the carnosine was too much. I don't know. Again, if anybody's got any feedback or any similar experience.
Can you be a little more specific, Tammy, when you say she felt bogged down? What does that mean? She just felt tired?
She felt like she had less energy. Like it was one of her worst races ever.
Do you think it was too much, Dr. Tom? Does someone want to share, Gregory?
Michelle, I'll share something about that.
Go ahead. Katie.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you want me to go ahead?
Yes, Kay, go ahead,
Okay,
and then we'll have
thank
Gregory.
you. I will share my personal experience with that as well. I'm very type A. I'm 79 years old. I do everything over the top, right, Gregory? Shake your head. And I have had 2 experiences with the energy enhancer slowing me down. And I think it's because my body needs that. I don't know if this gal's a type A or not, Tammy. You can check in with that. But what I did yesterday, we're packing to move tomorrow. So I'm back into my high energy over the top thing. And at about 3 o'clock yesterday, I could barely walk and I had energy enhancers on. And I thought, my body's telling me to go rest. So I took the patches off. I went and rested for about an hour. And then I had a wonderful sleep last night and woke up feeling great this morning. So I do think I want us to remember, I wish they'd call it energy balancer rather than energy enhancer, because for me, it is balancing my energy because I'm too revved up. So Tammy, maybe your
Well, I'm just thinking, the athletes, right? The U.S. women's swim team, all the other athletes that are using the patches, it's my impression they're using the energy enhancers. So, I don't know if it's something that they have to over time work up to. This is where it's new territory and I just don't know where to go from here.
Well, that's what I'm doing is I'm working up to it. I put the remainder of the patch energy back on this morning. And perhaps she could do that on days she's not performing, under the gun to begin to balance her energy a little more. That would be my thought.
Gregory?
Yeah, I'll jump in. And I think it's just too much too soon, 3 or 4 patches right out of the gate. The body's like, whoa, what's going on here? We're getting this signal here and that signal here, another signal there. The women's swim team, they didn't try anything else except energy enhancer. I've never heard of anybody only using energy enhancer getting bogged down. Okay. But, probably like Kay says, she's using a lot of the products and, her she's tuned into her body and she just needed to take a break because she is an overachiever. So, I'd back off everything except energy enhancer and let her try it during practice. It's kind of dicey to do anything first time out of the gate in competition because you never know how people's body's going to react.
Well, we've got a month now before her big race. So I'm trying to figure out what to tell her between now and that one.
I would tell her, let's try energy enhancer only during competition. She could use the other patches in between to help the body repair, regenerate, and renew. But when she's out there, practicing, let her try energy enhancer only. And my bet is she's going to have a whole different response.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really well said. I would echo that too. It's not a stimulant. Energy enhancer is not a stimulant. It is, as you guys both said, it's a beautiful balancer, and it'll send the resources to the place in the body that needs it, and it's a great litmus test as well to tell the body, to let the body say, "I need some rest," as Kay was saying. Might also try SP6. Again, SP6 is so great at mobilizing the steroids and mobilizing the regenerative lipids. And when you're in a long race and need to be ongoingly ketogenic, SP6 is fantastic for that.
What
Great
a
input.
wonderful discussion. This is
I'm sorry.
wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Tom and Gregory and Kay. Yes, Tammy, did you have another point to make?
Well, so from what Dr. Tom just said, should I tell her to try just using SP6 and Energy Enhancer the day of the race, just SP6 the day of the race?
Well, it's a great opportunity to just ongoingly watch and journal. So she can experiment a little bit. As Gregory, first time out, you never know. And so she's going to just gather some information, and trained athletes are great at that. Just have her journal which patches she's wearing when, what her times look like, what her performance looks like, what her mood looks like, and most especially how long she sleeps, of course, on the nights after a workout, right? We can help her walk through that.
And I'd like to jump in, and I want to thank everyone, because what's really, and thank you, Kay, for sharing what you shared. What's really important to realize what the patches do is they send a frequency of light that helps the body do what the body is designed to do, which is come to homeostasis. And as we know, it's not always a straight line or a smooth path. And so we need to pay attention to that. Know that when you're feeling something that's good, and many times people start with X39 and they say, I'm really tired. Well, what Kay said, her body needed to rest. And sometimes we push, and the body is brilliant and has such great wisdom. So honoring that is really valuable. So thank you, everybody.
Okay, thanks, Robin. Tammy, another Tammy, you're next.
Yes. Hi, good morning. So in
Morning.
comment to Tammy's question, as the summer I spent cycling, and I pushed my body in so many different ways. And I actually found when I was competing, I had to use 2 sets of energy, one on my lungs and then one on the bottom of my feet. And I played around with it for months because the different position of energy did make me tired, or like gave me a cramping in a weird way. But the 2 sets worked really nicely together. And I only wore energy when I was on the day of competition. That evening, then I would stick on my carnosine and I'd stick on my SP6 after I raced. And the days before, I was always wearing SP6 and X39. But I did find that like the week before I had the race, I actually needed some of the Eon to like calm my nerves, and I needed some of the glutathione, and those 2 just for 2 days before the week of the race. Actually, I saw huge improvements over the summer, and I did 5 different races over, each of them were over 50 miles of cycling. So they were 6 to 8 hours of endurance racing. And I found these combinations to be very interesting as I played with what my body was responding to, but it was not all of them every day of the race. No.
Tammy, did you use X39 every day on a regular basis though?
I did. I've been on X39 for 6 months and wouldn't go a day without it, except for the day of the race. I just stuck with energy. For me, I would get nauseous if I did anything else, because I was pushing my body in a way on such very specific foods that it was just too much for my body personally. And I'm only 40, so I'm not hitting those challenges, but still, that's what I found to be helpful for me.
Oh, that's awesome that
Wow.
you shared that. I don't know if there's any way I could get you to put that in the chat or text or something, because I wasn't fast enough taking notes.
Sure. I'm actually happy to put it in Vibrant Living as a just little testimonial of my summer journey.
That would be great.
Perfect, Tammy. That's perfect. I'm sure there's lots of people on this, 73 members on the call right now. I'm sure there's lots of people that are ecstatic that we have such a versatile and well-rounded community. So thank you, Tammy, for sharing, Tammy Reyman. Thank you for those gifts. For our other Tammy. Yeah. Awesome. Did you have another question, Tammy Reyman, or were you just wanting to share? Okay.
Just to share.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's what makes our community so strong and so wonderful. So where are we in time? We're about 25 after. I think unless someone has a burning desire to say or share, I think we'll turn it over to Robin and Gregory. Someone says in the chat, what do you mean by type A? Well, type A, it's like an old term from like psychology or something. There's type A people and type B. Type A people tend to be very driven, very intense, very focused, very energetic, and type B are more laid back, mellow type people. So that's kind of a little term that's been thrown around for a few decades. So Robin and Gregory, do you guys want to jump on and talk about tonight's call or any announcements?
Well, I'll make one, and then Robin will chime in and see if she has anything else she wanted to share. We're hoping to have a special guest on the call tonight. And that would be our Director of Global Sales, Emily Hollingshead, to talk about the upcoming conference and some other relevant things that are happening at corporate headquarters. So we'll keep you posted, and that'll be in the newsletter. We're holding back on the newsletter till we hear from her. But so, Robin, was anything else you wanted to share about tonight's call?
I do. We're going to be celebrating Dr. Pam tonight. She is a new manager. She's one of our MDs, and she lives in Florida, and she's been just learning how to take off the hat of the expert and put on the hat of the networking professional. And it's not as easy for people that are used to being the expert, because we have a different model here. And I also want to announce I'm going to be sending out another email about Coach Clarissa's course on the sales boot camp to end your year really strong. And I'm waiting to see if we're going to be changing the date to start date or not. So as soon as I know that, I'll be getting that out today to everybody. Coach Clarissa, I didn't see you on the line. Are you on? I guess not. So I will make sure that that gets out. So watch your emails. And if you haven't signed up yet, Gregory and I are signed up. And we are very excited. I don't know how excited Gregory is. I am to be a student of Coach Clarissa's. She's a major gift to our community. And then we'll be talking tonight about our guest for 30 Minutes of Wisdom this week. There is a LifeWave Connect this week. Make sure you get registered in your back office under events. If you're not familiar about that, it's at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Pacific time. And then, as Gregory mentioned, the upcoming event, anyone who shows up in Florida gets a sleeve of the new product. And we just got a notice today they're having a reception on the 11th for everybody. So we're excited to see you guys. That's it.
And anybody that shows up in Scottsdale gets to meet us. And Emily and Lois and Lori, our new Chief Marketing Officer, and and everyone else.
Kay and Connie that have been working so hard.
Dr. Nicholas and Dr. Joan. And so it's going to be a great event. So I want to encourage everyone.
That's this week.
That's this week, Saturday, right? Scottsdale, Arizona. We're going to set it up. We're going to light a fire there. That's for sure.
And someone just asked if the event will be available on Zoom, Gregory.
Probably.
Okay.
But not for people in Arizona. Everybody in Arizona has to come.
And we're also doing events up in Prescott and Sedona. So who do you know in Arizona? Everybody knows people in Arizona. And if you don't, ask your friends, who do you know in Arizona, or your teammates? Because we're looking forward to meeting everybody and sharing the great news of LifeWave.
And we're going there to help you build your business.
That's our job.
Our job.
Very good point.
That's what we get paid for.
That's right.
All right.
Thank you, Robin and Gregory. All right, is that it? Awesome. What a great juicy call, as we like to say. There was a lot of good information here. So if everyone wants to unmute, we can say goodbye, but thank you. This concludes our Monday morning chat, and I hope everyone has a wonderful week. Keep on patching your friends, your family, and even the stranger at the grocery store. You never know. You never know where you're going to find a prospect.
That's
Everyone
right.
have a wonderful week.
Thank
Thank
you.
Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Have a beautiful day.
Thank you.